Thanks for everybody coming out. This is an exciting day. Obviously, to the left of me, you can see why it's an exciting day. I want to thank the media. We've got family here. We've got some fans here. You guys, we've got some Iowa State wrestlers here, so if you want to get the scoop on that, you can get the scoop on that. And then we've got even a few of our regional training center guys here. So obviously an exciting day. I want a couple quick thank yous. First off, he's not able to be here today, but obviously I want to thank Jamie Pollard and you know, all that he's done. 6 weeks ago was a press conference that I sat in front of a lot of you for the first time. So Jamie Pollard continues to deliver, and to the left of me is some of his delivery. So he's not here, and so I'm going to give him some love anyway. I think he's coming back for the Final Four. And then I want to thank Dan Dresser, and if that name's familiar, that's my brother. He's the director of our new and newly formed Cyclone Regional Training Center. And that's moving along very well. Like I mentioned 6 weeks ago, I had a couple short-term goals. One of them was the Regional Training Center, to get that up and moving, and through the help of him and some other individuals, that's underway. We're rocking and rolling. We actually had our first Regional Training Center workout last week on Thursday night. Had a good mix of college guys, a couple high school guys, and it's legal, by the way, to do that, and a few, actually some area college guys that came in. So that was one of my goals. Secondly was to get to know my team, and I think I'm doing that. I ask them their names every day, and I'm getting better remembering them. So I've got to attend a lot of practices since the NCAA tournament, so I'm getting a feel for my team. And thirdly was to hire staff in the short term, and that came together with some work, but kind of quickly. To think that the NCAA tournament hasn't been over that long, and to have 3 guys of this caliber sitting next to me is pretty exciting. So before I introduce them, I'm going to start with my new associate head coach, Mike Zadick, to my left. 2 things that I really want to address, and first off is the elephant in the room. We got 3 guys that grew up wearing black and gold. That's the elephant in the room, right? And we got 3 guys that look pretty daggone good in cardinal and gold right now. And I'm in talking to them, I think that they will assure you how much they were on board. And so that's maybe a little bit of a comment to the Cyclone Nation out there, that I could tell you in just our meetings and being together the last 24 hours how excited these guys, and I think you'll see that out of them, are to be at Iowa State. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, and we've communicated this as a staff, and I think you'll find that out, and I know there'll be some media questions about this as to whose role is this and what this title is. This isn't about titles or job titles. This is 4 guys putting their head down, going to work. And everybody's equally important, and everybody's going to be working with the RTC guys. Everybody's going to be working with the team. Everybody's going to be involved in recruiting, and that's what's going to make us great. So hopefully that will maybe not squash. I don't think the media likes the word squash any questions there, but hopefully give you some directions on just what the intention is here. So with that, I'm excited to first off, I'm going to introduce Coach Zadick, and he's going to introduce the guys to the left of him. I've had the fortunate, I chased Mike Zadick out of the mountains literally 2 years ago. It was a hard sale, but I got him to Virginia Tech. I got him on my side, and I can tell you that he brings a lot of energy. He brings a lot of love, and I know that's a strange word for a wrestling room, but he brings a lot of energy and a lot of love in a wrestling room, and he's a special guy and has done some great things for us. So with that, please welcome Mike Zadick to Iowa State.
Thank you very much. I guess first is I really appreciate and want to thank Coach Dresser. Coach, like he said, brought me out of the mountains into the coaching world again. I enjoyed it, and I really thank Virginia Tech for the opportunity there, first and foremost, and wish him the best. And then moving forward, thanking Pollard and Iowa State University here for the opportunity to come over here with Coach Dresser and continue to build something. That relationship I think is important that Coach Dresser's had with me, and then also the staff that we have along with us there. So I'm excited for that. As far as this program, obviously we have high goals, and like he said, building those relationships with our athletes first and foremost, getting to know each other, building that trust, and moving forward. 57th in the country right now. There's a lot of work to do, and that's what we're here to do. And do we know a plan of attack? We know what we know about the sport of wrestling, all four of us, and we're going to implement that the best we can, and results will speak for it. And I'm not making any predictions by any means, but that's the job at hand right now, and we're just up for the adventure and the opportunity to do it here as Cyclone. So that, to me, is probably the most exciting thing in our near future, and thanks for having us on board. That's about what I have for you. Any questions? All right. I'm going to introduce Derek St. John next. He was a four-time All-American, University of Iowa. He was a national champion there. Born and raised here in Iowa. He was coaching after college, went to North Dakota State for a year, and then when I went over to Virginia Tech, he came along with me there under Coach Dresser, and we spent 2 seasons there together and have a really good relationship. One thing I can say about him as a coach, while he was an athlete, he was one of both of these guys, I'll say it about both of them, but two of the smartest wrestlers that just made really good changes on the fly as far as their wrestling. Were really impressive, and it shows in their coaching as well, at least with Derek for the last 2 years. So next up, as I'm happy to have him with me as well, Derek St. John.
Really, this hasn't really set in for me yet, so you have to forgive me, but you know, being born and raised in the state of Iowa, I'm really, truly excited to come back and be involved with the state of Iowa and Iowa State. And I got to thank Dresser for bringing me along and Pollard for bringing me along. And, you know, my network in the state of Iowa, you know, I've been here my whole life, so really it's consumed my life, wrestling, and looking to expand my coaching career. You know, I'm very excited for the things that we have moving forward, and with our relationship between Dresser and Zadick and myself with working together the last 2 years. We've obviously done some really great things, and we look to continue to build those things here as well. Walking into this program, I'm excited because of what they have coming into this program already, with the recruiting, the young guys that are involved. I've watched a lot of these guys over the last couple of years, going through their high school and whatnot. And I am truly blessed to have an opportunity at Iowa State.
Questions for him? All right.
We're going to get some questions in. I know you guys are dying, right? So we'll hang on to the end.
Next up then, to my left, direct left, pretty excited to have him. Big splash here too. New to the three of us as a whole, but not really new to me. Another individual that I was around a lot as a coach and athlete, and had great relations with him, always have, and pretty honored to have him around each other, be around each other again, and in a coaching role. He brings so much to the sport of wrestling, always has. He was a 2-time national champion at the University of Iowa, 4-time high school state champion, Hodge Trophy winner, 3-time All-American, 4-time world team member. So a lot of credentials, and you can go on and on. But probably one of the best credentials is just his personality and his charisma. The energy he brings in a room, when he comes into the room, I probably shouldn't say the top quality. His top is his wife sitting over there, forgot, with 3 kids. She gave me the eyes there. No, I'm just kidding. No, but what he brings into the room with athletes, just in general, what he brought in as an athlete at the university when I was there, it's like having another coach, as you know, having an athlete. He did everything right, but he was fun, and people feed off it. You feed off that energy, and that's one thing I think Derek has a way of people feeding off his energy. He's probably seemed that quiet guy his whole life. I'm kind of hyper. I would say Brent's a little hyper too, but it's a good energy from all of us, a good balance that I think the team will really respond to well. So next up, I think one of his biggest qualities, like I said, is that energy and that charisma that comes from Brent Metcalf.
All right, thank you. I'm excited about this opportunity. First thing I'd like to say is I'd like to thank USA Wrestling for the opportunity that they've given me. Obviously, this was a big mix-up as far as my family's plans and what was going to move forward, and it kind of all happened quick. But I am very excited about the opportunity. You know, to get into, in the past years, you know, I've been thinking about where I was going to begin my coaching career, how it was going to start. This was a heck of a way to do it, I guess. But I'm excited to do it here. I'm excited to be in the state of Iowa. I was speaking last night to some people and talking about the pride that this state has about the sport of wrestling, how fun it is to be in this state when you are a wrestler, where you're really appreciated for the work that you do, for the performance that you do. It's a really exciting state to be a part of, so I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm excited about this opportunity. I want to thank you guys for, I don't know, taking the chance, I mean, is the right word, but reaching out to me and knowing I would be susceptible to an idea like this, and I'm really excited about it. To me, I think this is great. Iowa State, heck yeah, let's go do it. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot as far as statement goes, but that I'm just very appreciative for you guys. Obviously, I've been great friends with these two for a long time. Dresser and I are starting to develop a relationship, and we feel very comfortable there. And I think there's going to be a lot of really good things moving forward.
All right, any questions for Brent?
We're going to pass the mic, so if you need it, just let me know. Chris, you got it? Mike, I'll start with you. Can you take me through your process joining Coach Dresser's staff at Virginia Tech and how you kind of established your role as a hands-on associate?
So the process first going into Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
Well, like he said, I was living in the mountains, a cabin in Montana for about 4 years. And he knew somebody that knew me and got in contact actually through Facebook. I think he messaged me or email.
Good old Facebook.
And I didn't have phone reception up there, but I did have Wi-Fi. So I would get that, and he hounded me. He hounded me, and I wanted to be open to it, and he was relentless. And it just so happened at the time I volunteered at a local high school about 40 miles away called Shoto High. And there was 12 kids on the team, and we happened to that year go to the state championship and win it for the first time in like 25 years, and it really got me excited about wrestling again. And that little bit, and he happened to call me about a month later, and I said I'll come out and check it out, and we looked at it, and just treated me well. And honestly, I said to myself, I'm probably not going to Virginia. It's a long ways away, and I think my brother told him that if you think you're getting Mike out of the mountains, you're going to have to bomb him because he ain't leaving. But I think about, a month later, I went out and looked at it, and it just felt right. I had a great relationship with Coach Dresser, and the opportunity in front of me and the team that was out there, it really just felt right. So it was the next step into coaching, and the rest there was, a lot of trust in Dresser and letting me step in and not just be a guy walking around his room. He let me have a lot of freedom as far as implementing my philosophy and my coaching, and that to me was very important. And then the more I think I did, I think he gave me more trust, and next thing you know, there was just a lot of great communication between us about the development, and things were changing, and away we went. So that's kind of where we got to here.
Mike, when you were in the mountains for 3 or 4 years, whatever it was, contemplating your next move, whatever you were doing, what had changed from about Iowa State wrestling then, what it was back then and is now, to back when you were growing up in the state, back when you were in the state of Iowa, you were wrestling? What had changed?
Like Iowa State University?
State wrestling, how had it changed from back when you were wrestling against Iowa State to what it was back when you were, like I said?
Well, I can tell you it
being
fell
in
off.
the-
It definitely fell off. And not that I followed it a lot. I was there and I followed the sport of wrestling and did camp, summer camps. But as far as a college, when I left Iowa, there's a lot of athletes I watched. I watched Derek St. John. I watched a lot of kids I spent a lot of time with, and to see how they were doing, progressing and stuff. At the time when I was in college, we had a lot of battles with Iowa State and a lot of 1 versus 2s. And obviously, looking at it now, getting back into the sport and being around it the last few years, it definitely has fallen off. I'm not pointing a finger at anything other than the fact that Iowa State was 1 and 2 a lot of times in these dual meets. So people talk about getting this rivalry back in state. It's really not about that. For me, I know it is for a lot of people, but being back in this sport and being in Iowa State now, I'm not worried about Iowa. I'm worried about like Penn State right now. So if we're worried about a Penn State program, then everything else, not that they'll take care of themselves, but our standard, we're looking a lot further than just across the street. Iowa's, it's part of the process. It's part of a team you got to step in front of from that in-state rivalry. But Penn State that's the team if you want to start looking at motivating our team right now and who we have to beat. So going back, I guess, to the in-state thing in Iowa State, definitely has a lot of development to be done. I think we have the firepower in our program. I just think the development in their mind right now and getting them to believe and having them open-minded to, I'm going to guess and just assume right now, I guess, the fact that they have to have an open mind to a different way of doing things. And do I think they're very capable? Yeah.
This is for Coach Dresser. Obviously, filling out your staff is one of the most important parts of starting a new job, but how important was it to get these three guys, obviously former Iowa Hawkeyes too, how important was that to get them to come to Iowa State?
The fact that they were all Hawkeyes is maybe coincidence. I've always prided myself on hiring really good people and really qualified people, and I think I did pretty good over here to the left. I don't know about you, but I think I did pretty good. So I'm pretty excited about just what we put together here, and obviously the connection with Mike and Derek, having so much trust and faith and respect for those guys. Obviously, Brent Metcalf jumped in the picture pretty quick and kind of late here, but the fact that they had relations with him and I could talk to those guys and say, hey, is he one of us? And they were like, darn straight, yeah. So it happened pretty fast towards the end.
How are practices going to look? Who's going to be running practices? You two just got done wrestling, so you're going to be scrapping on the mat with those guys. How will practices look?
Well, we're all going to be involved. I had a lot of confidence and a lot of faith in Mike Zadick, and he's the guy that's going to get us all together. Mike does a great job of implementing his staff, like he mentioned. When I got comfortable with Mike, Mike did a lot of the practices. He ran a lot of really what was going on, and he communicated real well, and he used his staff real well. So to answer your question, some days Derek St. John's going to run practice. Some days Brent Metcalf's going to run practice. The only guy that he probably won't let run practice is me, but everybody else will. I say that kiddingly. He might let me run practice every now and then. But it's going to be a great working relationship because he's really good at delegating and recognizing talent. And the guy, I'm kind of jumping off a little bit, but Derek St. John, if you look at his 3-year resume of coaching, just about everybody he's touched really close as All-American. That's a pretty good thing to have in your resume, okay? At North Dakota State, he put 2 guys at the podium, and in 2 years at Virginia Tech, he put 2 guys that were huge long shots probably at the beginning of the year on the podium in David McFadden and this year's Sal Mastriani. And so Metcalf's competitive as heck, so he's going to get 4 All-Americans himself next year, okay? So we're going to compete like crazy in that respect, but hopefully that answered your question. This is a team. This is kind of my dream team here, so I'll step back and watch them go.
Derek, how did your role evolve so quickly at Virginia Tech, and how do you envision that changing here in age?
There was a lot of trust from Dresser and Zadick both. Obviously, I had a really good relationship with Zadick coming into Virginia Tech, and that helped really get his name steamrolling for me. Just with the fact that he trusted me with the guys one-on-one, and even up in front of a group of guys. So then I think we had a little push and shove at the beginning, and then I kind of got my way a little bit with Dresser. He kind of let me do my thing, and ended up having some really good results. And then from that point on, it was all uphill from there.
Brent, what exactly made this, with the OTC being lined up, what made this more attractive or made this the right move for you at this time?
Yeah, it was certainly a hard decision because, probably mostly because of I'm kind of about my word. You know, when you give your word that you're going to do something, it was hard for me to go back on that. But really what it came down to was my family, my career. And this was going to be the best move for those two things. So that's what decided on.
When you guys were wrestling, you all wrestled at middle and lightweights. Iowa State has a lot of talented young middle lightweights. Kanan Story, Ian Parker, Austin Gomez is here. How excited are you to be able to touch those guys and work with those guys every day? And what's going to happen at the upper weights too, since none of you really have all that much experience wrestling at upper weight?
I told those guys this way to get this question right, remember that, okay? If you ever saw Ty Walls and Jared Hawk wrestle, that's Mike Zadick right over here. So he's, you know, I don't believe in weight classes and working for weight classes. I still think Metcalf can probably whoop, you know, 4 guys at one time in the Iowa State room, and so can St. John. So I don't think it really matters what they weigh. But in terms, I'm kidding, but in terms of development, you know, we've got, these guys can coach 100-pounders and 500-pounders. So, you know, that's, I'm not saying that's a dumb question. It's not a dumb question because everybody wants to line up coaches with weight classes, but people that ask that question don't really understand wrestling, I don't think. And I'm not saying that negatively to you, but we've got, I'm probably talking too long about this question, but I guess I've been getting beat up by emails on this question. So where's your light heavyweight guy? We got a guy named Kyvan Gadsden. Y'all heard of him, right? He's not bad, and he's going to be in our RTC. So we got plenty to cover everything. So.
And how excited are you to touch the younger weight, or the lower weights like Kanan Store and those guys?
Well, I think those. I'll let Mike answer that because he hasn't got a chance to be around him. He's probably going to observe a lot. But we got some pretty good guys sitting in here right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have one person in general, really. It's just impacting all of them. So just one kid maybe has a credential or this over him. Doesn't really matter. They're all going to get treated the same. It's all about development right now and building that relationship and moving forward. So like he said, the whole big guy needs a big guy coach or big guy needs a big guy to work out with, that's baloney to me. You develop a guy right here, and then on the mat with his work and his technique, and he'll perform. And that's what it's about. It doesn't mean you have to weigh 220 pounds to impact a heavyweight. Like he said, I have really great relationships, and I always have a lot gravitated to big guys for some reason. And they, just the chemistry, whatever it is. So that's probably somewhat of my answer to your question. Then as far as the Gomez's and that come in here, and the guys that walk into this program, they're all going to have the same opportunity. They're all going to have all of us at their disposal, and we're going to work with them all as much as they commit themselves. We'll be in that room around the clock with them. So are we excited? Yeah, we're excited for everybody. But I'm not looking at one kid I can't wait to get my hands on, no.
Coach Dresser, you said that in your first press conference you had to bring back the alumni, the support, the fans. How has that outreach been for you?
Really good. You know, it's the Cyclone Nation is excited. I'm sure yesterday got them even more excited, but the amount of emails, the amount of correspondence has been great. And so we're creating a lot of momentum. We're excited to get these guys in front of our fan base. I'm doing a plug for April 20th, but April 20th in Ankeny, we're going to have a big town hall Iowa State wrestling function, Iowa State wrestling town hall meeting in Ankeny. So mark it down, April 20th, and we're just going to keep doing that. We're going to do some things different, and we want the Cyclone Nation involved. So it's not going to be a situation where you have to be an alumni or anything like that. If you're just an Iowa State fan and you're excited about Iowa State wrestling, show up, and obviously we'll have a lot of information out there about that, but that's just kind of our mindset going forward in that.
The other elephant in the room, Mike, your beard. How long did it take you, and how proud of it are you exactly?
Is that really an elephant in the room? Seriously? It is? All right. Well, you need to grow one then. No. I started growing it.
Trimmed it today, by the way, trimmed it.
Yeah, I shaved it yesterday, but this won't stay off me. No, I shaved at my cousin's wedding in September it'll be 5 years this September. It hasn't grown much. When I get on the mat, sometimes it breaks off, but the thing about it is didn't really care. I'd shave it someday when I woke up. I just haven't yet. And when I got to Virginia Tech, the administration there, they actually said, don't shave it. They liked it. I liked that. They weren't afraid of it. So I got here, and Pollard, he laughed at it, and kind of liked it too, so I don't know, I might shave it in a week, I might not. It just happens to be there. Am I proud of it? No, it's made its own. Everybody else has kind of made it to be a big deal, but I've always kind of grew up, my dad always had a beard off and on and shaved it every Easter. So maybe it's something I'll pick up. He had it for hunt season and shaved it at Easter. So me, I don't know. It became a Twitter, had its own following and things like that, but that's not me. So I don't, whatever. Someday I'll shave it, I'm sure.
This question's for all three assistants. Mike, I know you mentioned Penn State being the team that you guys are trying to catch, just like everybody else in college wrestling. But for the fans, Iowa is the team within the state that a lot of fans want to see Iowa State finally beat and finally get caught up to. Is there added motivation for all three of you, being Hawkeye alums, to face your old school and obviously try to beat your old school?
You want me to go first? Is there added? Not really. It's obviously there's going to be a heck of a lot more energy, just because there's close ties there, and some programs there isn't, and the fact that it's a rivalry, and we were from Iowa, and the good thing is that we're all in Iowa now still. I mean, are back, and that's one thing that was really big for especially him and I coming here is, I spent 15 years in Iowa, and it's like a family. It's like a whole community to me. My adulthood was all in Iowa. So coming into that, I think it's just going to be a lot of energy from, no matter if they're Iowa State or Iowa fans, just having a lot of Iowa people, Iowa kind of raised people, even though I wasn't born and raised, just competing against each other. Our philosophies versus their philosophies, the close ties, that sort of thing. So added outside of that, no.
I think the rivalry is good. I think that the more intense you can make that rivalry, the better. It's good for the state. It's good for the sport of wrestling from that point of view. I don't think that any of us have any sort of grudge or chip or something to prove. We certainly don't come from that mindset. More where Mike was talking, where it's like, hey, we're going to set our bar at being the best. Period. And they will be in the way. But the reality is that we are going to wrestle them every year, and they're going to be on the counter, and we are going to get ready for them and want to go in there and win. Absolutely.
Just from my perspective of growing up, and that was one of the things I grew up watching was the Iowa State duels. There's always a lot of buzz behind those duels. For us and where we're at right now, it's probably more so a really good gauge of probably where you're at. Iowa's been a powerhouse school for, since Gable got there really, but it'll be a good gauge to realize where you're at, which is where you're at in the country, and being a top, they've been in the top 5 for quite some time, so since I've been there, so it'll be a good way to gauge where you're sitting in the rest of the country.
Any other questions for the staff? All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. You guys can stick around if you want to grab them, thanks.